Hey everyone, it's Max, and I am here to do the TBR Book Tag. So just so you know, I am going to be doing a couple of videos at my mom's house. They are going to be more centered around my TBR, not books that I've already read. So on Wednesday, I won't be doing a top 5 Wednesday. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, but that is because I'm just working a lot and my mom's house is closer, so I'm going to be staying with her a lot more. But let's just get on into it. So the first question is, how do you keep track of all the books on your TBR? So the books that I actually own on my TBR, I have here at my mom's house. I have 2 bookshelves and one is dedicated for my TBR. Print or ebook? Most of the books that I own are in print, and most of my TBR books I actually want to get to are in print. I do have quite a few books I haven't read on my ebook, or on my e-reader, but I don't really count those because those are just more like spur of the moment. They're really cheap, so I got them. I don't really want to read them soon. How do I determine which book to read next? So what I'm doing to get rid of my TBR by the end of the year, I have monthly themes. So June is retellings, July is contemporary, August is other worlds, etc. So I just choose all the books that go with that theme, put them in that month, and then I just kind of go on based on what I'm feeling. I do like to separate, series, so I'll read one book of one series, then the first book of a different series, and then the second book of one series, etc., etc., and keep going just to kind of split it up. I don't really like to marathon series. I like to split them up and keep it going. So yeah. The book that has been on your TBR for the longest. I don't quite know, but I think the one that has been on there the longest is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is about a girl named Lara Jean who writes these letters to every boy that she has a crush on, and that kind of helps her get over the crush. And then one day she comes home to find that all of the letters have been sent out. So I believe what she does is she hires a fake boyfriend to show all these guys that she is over them. I have just heard absolutely fantastic things about it. The third one recently came out. I cannot wait to read this, and I'll be reading it in July. The book that has been on your TBR for the shortest amount of time, or a book that you bought recently. And I'm going to be talking about the book that I just bought, and that was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I did not have this on my May book haul because I bought it on May 31st. I feel like I always do that. I did that in April, I did it in May, like the very last day I have to buy at least one book. And yes, I know, I haven't read it. I haven't read any Rainbow Rowell novels. This is about a girl named Kath who, she and her sister go to college, and while her sister kind of wants to separate herself from her and like get more new friends, Kath has severe social anxiety, and she just wants to stay with her sister. And she is a fan fiction writer of this book series called Simon Snow, which is kind of like Harry Potter. But then a guy named Levi starts to take interest in her. This is all I know. I have heard absolutely no bad things about this book. Everyone seems to love this book, and I cannot wait to read it. The next is a book that you bought purely because of the cover, and that was Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Tuchok. My dad was in Sam's Club, and he texted me just all these titles in case I wanted any, and I just remember this book because of the cover, and I really like the cover. I like the designs, and I think it's really pretty. I like that they're kind of muted colors. I don't like April Genevieve Tuchok. She wrote Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, and I didn't like that book. And this is all just kind of, it seems like just like a love triangle, and that's like the main basis of the story. There might be a little bit of a murder mystery or just a mystery in there, but it just doesn't really sound interesting to me, but I did have them pick it up because of the cover. The next one is a book that you never plan on reading. So this one I don't never plan on reading, but I don't know when I'm going to get to it. And that is The Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. I want to read this, but because it's not like a real book, it's like the guidebook that all Shadowhunters go by in the Shadowhunter universe. It's not really driving the plot or anything. So I don't know when I'm going to actually just sit down and read this. I might read it in chunks, like maybe a chapter here, a chapter there, but I don't really know if I'm ever going to just sit down and like, this is the book that I am reading and not read any others. A book that is on your TBR pile that everyone has seemed to read, and literally almost all of the books that I've talked about, except Wing Poppy Midnight, everyone has read. But I'm going to go with The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I've only read Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson, but I do plan on reading all of her books in July. It's about a girl named Andy who has the perfect summer plan. She's going to have this internship at, I think, like a doctor's office, and she's just got all these great plans. But then when her dad, who's a politician, is involved in a scandal and he comes home, he wants to spend more time with her, and I believe she's kind of fired from her internship. So she becomes a dog walker and everything has changed. I have heard absolutely amazing things about this book. It's pretty big, but I have a feeling I'll just fly through it, and I cannot wait to read it. A book on my TBR that everyone recommends to me. So I don't really know anyone who's read this, like personally, but I feel like everyone on BookTube has read it or has book hauled it. And I feel like people really, really enjoy it. And that is Rebel in the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I do believe that it is about a girl who's kind of a sharpshooter, but she's not allowed to leave this town. But when another sharpshooter comes to her town, she escapes with him. I might be totally wrong, but that's kind of what I've gathered from reading synopses on like Barnes and Noble, and when it was a hardcover. I haven't actually read the synopsis on the back, but it's not very big. It's like 2 sentences, maybe not even. So I'm not quite sure, but I feel like everyone has book hauled this, and I cannot wait to read it. Book on your TBR that I am dying to read. This book, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get to until like September, but I just love the premise, and that is The Love Interest by Cale Dietrich. If you saw my May book haul, there was an unboxing. This was in the May Spearcraft book box, and this is about two guys who are spies, and they're both sent to try to win over this one girl and spy on her. One is kind of the stereotypical bad boy, and one is the stereotypical like good guy, to see which one draws her the most. But the problem is that they start falling for each other. This just sounds so great. This is on Kaiditastic's most anticipated books of the year, and I have just wanted to read this, and I love the cover. I think it's just, I don't really have a problem with people on the covers like a lot of people do, but I do like the whole silhouette thing and like the red and black and the contrast. I cannot wait to read this, but it does go best with my September theme, so I probably will be getting to it in September. The last question is, how many books are on your TBR list? I am going with books that I physically own, and I'm not going on if there's more books in the series that I am planning on reading, but I just don't own them. I counted the books that are on my shelves, and it is 35, which I thought there was a lot more. I think at the beginning of the year there was, but I have read 70, I have read 75 or 6 books so far this year. So I am just like busting through my TBR pile. So I don't have that many left. And that is excluding sequels. Like I own To All the Boys I Loved Before, but I don't own P.S. I Still Love You or Always and Forever Lara Jean, but I do plan on reading them. And I own The Kiss of Deception and The Heart of Betrayal, but I don't own The Beauty of Darkness, but I am planning on reading it. So I'm not counting those. So my TBR pile is a little bit bigger than 35, but with the books I just own right now, I am definitely going to be able to get through all of them by the end of the year. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.